Tuesday morning, Useful Media, Marcus Jervis,
Yo.
11 a.m. Yo, so I was on Twitter as usual the other day, but something came across the address on Twitter that happened.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to call somebody out. I'm calling out Debbie Trout. I need Debbie Trout to come to the front of the congregation.
Oh boy.
Debbie Trout is the mother, if you don't know, of Mike Trout.
Yes.
So she post like when you go to your home screen on Twitter, the feed comes up and it's just random tweets like when you first sign up to Twitter or any social media platform, they go by your interests. So they'll just put out stuff, just that you might be interested in. You might not follow the person, but you might be interested. So a Debbie Trout tweet popped up, which the tweet wasn't anything. It was an innocuous tweet, nothing special. But I clicked. Sometimes I like to click on the profile and get to know the person. You know what I mean? Sometimes you do that. You don't do it for everybody, but sometimes like, oh, you know what? I'm interested to see what you're about. Let me see what you're looking at, Debbie Trout. So I go in there and the first time I see her AVI, okay, is a picture of her husband, and Mike Trout.
Okay.
Then the wallpaper in the background, the long wallpaper.
Right.
A picture of her husband, Mike Trout. Now, she's obviously very proud of her son, as she should be. Her son's a Major League Baseball player, right? Mm-hmm. She should be proud of that.
Right.
Here's my problem. She has 3 kids. Where's the love for your other 2 kids, Debbie? You can't just have Mike all over your Twitter. Where's Bobby and Ronnie? You can't do that.
If they ain't doing nothing, they can sit over there with Ricky and Mike.
No, you can't do that.
Yes,
you can't. No, that's not right.
Yes,
you gotta show. Listen, if she was okay, I don't have a problem with one of the 2 pictures being her husband, Mike Trout. Mm-hmm. But you gotta show some love somewhere. All she has in the description: proud mother of 3 kids. Yeah. But Debbie ain't that damn proud.
Look,
you're not that proud.
She just showed him love.
Mm-mm.
She ain't say proud mother of superstar son. No,
that's disrespectful. You gotta have all your kids up there. If you're gonna put one up there, they all gotta go up there. You can't just have one kid, or it needs to be a rotation of some sort.
One of them might be Willie Bobo doing nothing. Might be
don't matter.
Bum. Yeah, dude.
No,
I'm not having my crackhead son up in here with.
Why you gotta be a crackhead? Hey, he ain't gotta be a crackhead. You're doing too much.
Could be.
No,
he could be.
I'm sure they have nice jobs. I'm sure it's just boring every day 401k type of stuff. But that ain't right. I don't know about that.
Maybe not. Listen, every parent loves all their kids, but they like one more than the rest.
True.
There you go.
That's true. No, but they shouldn't know that. They should know that.
No, they do know that.
They might be able to figure it out, but they shouldn't know that.
They do know that.
No, they shouldn't.
Obvious. It's obvious.
It's not obvious.
And the one that's like the most will tell the others that he's the most like one.
Yeah, right. Like for me, I view my house a power ranking system. I got the system, power rankings. If something can happen that week, you can slide down the rankings list. You know what I mean? You can take a trip down the list. Some weeks you're number 1 and feeling good about life, and other weeks, you left me a little bit of orange juice this much in the fridge. Now I gotta slide you down. You gotta go down for that.
Lost a couple points.
Yeah. Dad had to go to the bathroom, and you're taking too long in there. You gotta slide down a couple points for that.
Okay.
Like things like that happen. You gotta be flexible in your rankings with your children. Because one week one could be shining, and one could be getting on your nerves.
It's true.
It fluctuates. Like for me, like in my house, it's cyclical. It all depends on what's happening that day. You could be a superstar that day, or you could be down list that day. It happens.
It happens, but at the end of the day, you like one more than the other. It's what it is. It is what it is.
Who do you like more right now? Don't answer that.
Yeah.
Don't answer that.
Yeah, let's not. I go through this all the time.
Yeah, don't answer that question.
Don't get this. But I have to stop real quick right here and take a moment because I owe you an apology.
I
know. I know.
See, I got smaller.
I know.
Whoa! Hold on. Let me get a sip of water for this.
An apology,
man.
So a few episodes back, we were talking about Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh yeah, we gonna bring her up.
And you went on this whole tirade of how Ellen DeGeneres isn't as nice as her perception and the persona she puts out there to be.
Yes, true.
I debated this with you.
You did.
I told you were wrong.
You did.
And all this stuff. And there were a bunch of people, a gentleman put it on Twitter about if you had stories about Ellen, tell him and all this stuff, he would donate money and everything. And people had stories for days about how not nice she is and everything. Mm-hmm. So there's a story that came out with the Hollywood Reporter.
Yep.
And it says, Warner Media investigating Ellen DeGeneres show for workplace misconduct.
Yep.
Now, it's not saying that it was Ellen per se.
Mm-hmm.
It could be people that worked on her show.
Mm-hmm.
But being that Ellen is the head of the show, when you're the boss, you're supposed to know what goes on in the workplace.
True.
So we may have to add that on Ellen's list.
Oh, we definitely will. And right now, if you go on Twitter, well, let me make sure I'm accurate on this. Hold on, everyone. Make sure this is still happening. It is. If you go on Twitter right now, Ellen DeGeneres is the number one trend in the world. It's not for positive reasons. That investigation that you speak of is now officially underway. She's now officially being investigated by Warner Media. Is being investigated for workplace misconduct, alleged racism, and bullying being two things that are being talked about. We're going to get into that because that actually is a topic I want to get into after. I want to save it for hopefully after the break. But that's on the list. That's in the bullet points here. We're gonna talk about that.
So I just wanted to step up to the plate.
Yeah. And
give my official apology.
I appreciate that.
I can admit when I'm wrong.
Well, I'm glad. We're growing here. I did the Lizzo apology.
Yeah, you did.
Now, so here we go. Now we're even.
I had to come clean.
So before we get into Ellen and that foolishness, a couple days ago, I'm coming back in. I went to the grocery store to get a couple things. I'm coming back in the house, and I hear the neighbors going at it, arguing, like screaming, yelling. Ah!
Really?
Oh, getting after it. I don't know what it is about people, but it's like whenever you hear someone else argue, you gotta listen. You pretend like you're sweeping, pretend like you're looking for the mail. Like I went in, I was like, Amber, I think the neighbor's arguing. She said she shot off the couch, walked out in the hallway to pretend like she was doing something. She heard for a second, got all excited. Like it's just something about an argument that doesn't have to do with you that just gets you excited.
You was ear hustling.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You was ear hustling.
But I feel like everybody does that. Everyone gets super excited listening to other people fight. Like it's a bad quality that people have, but I think we all suffer from the same thing.
Right.
Like you hear your neighbors going at it, you immediately want to know what they're fighting about. And then you talk about it amongst your house with your couples. Like couples love one of the best pastimes for a couple is talking about other couples' problems. Like every couple loves to address other couples' problems and have a forum about what other couples are doing wrong. Like it's just truth. Every couple will sit around and be like, well, I don't know what's going on with Sally and Jimmy. I just can't seem to figure it out. Like it's a thing.
Yeah, we do. We like who doesn't like the gossip?
Right.
Like a little bit of gossip.
And that's the thing. The misconception about guys is that we don't love the tea and we don't love gossip. It's not true. Guys love the gossip just as much as females do.
Yes, they do.
It's just like it's been made to seem like it's taboo and you're not supposed to do it. But we love gossip. We love it. Yeah. It's the same reason why, basically a podcast, most podcasts are discussing other people's mess.
Right.
Like that's what we're doing right now. We talk about Ellen DeGeneres mess. We talk about Debbie Trout being messy in her pictures. Like we talk about couples fighting. That's gossip. We're just two dudes sitting around spilling tea.
That's it, man. We love the gossip. We do. As long as it's made about us. We love the gossip. As long as I'm not into gossip.
Facts. So it got me thinking. I'm gonna start with you. What is like the worst fight you've ever been in with a significant other, or the most you can do worst or most memorable?
Wow. I mean, there've been quite a few scuffles. We'll say.
Not the scuffles.
Yeah, there've been quite a few scuffles. You know, first of all, I don't like to fight. You know,
who does?
Yeah, I don't like.
You know what? Quick, you know what I hate when there's an argument ensuing and the person says, "I don't want to fight with you." Well, I don't want to do it either. But here we are.
But we know it's about to go down.
Yeah, we know it's going down. We're in the middle of it. We're in the throes of it.
Yeah. So I don't like to fight, but if we gonna fight, trust me, we gonna get it in.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
you're out for blood.
Yeah. So I mean, there was this one situation where, you know, I went to go see my boy. I lived in this apartment complex. My boy, you know, lived a couple of doors down from me. So I went down to his spot, check him out, and it was him and his girl, just him and his girl at his apartment. So I go in and I'm rapping with him and everything. His girl's in the bathroom doing her hair in the mirror. So my man went to do something. So I went into the bathroom, you know, put the toilet seat down. I was sitting on the toilet seat, you know, talking to his girl while she's doing her hair and everything. So then my girl at the time comes in, knocks on the door. My man opens the door. She sees.
Oh, it was closed?
No, the bathroom door was open. She knocked on the front door. He opens the front door. And when you open the front door, you can see the first thing you see is the bathroom.
Okay.
So she sees me sitting on the toilet seat talking to his girl.
Yeah.
And then just loses it.
Wow.
And I'm like, what's going on? Like, you know them. And you know I know them too. You know, it's like, what's the problem? So I'm like, yo, I'll be back, y'all. It's about to get crazy. So I go.
Oh, so she leaves.
Yeah. So I go back to the apartment. Now over my spot is her sister's boyfriend, and one of my boys.
Oh, so, you got a whole audience.
I go over there. Now she's mad, arguing with me in front of everybody, all this stuff, whatever. I'm like,
what was she saying? Like, what was the reasoning? She just thought you like was too intimate?
I guess. You know, like, why are you talking to her about like, yo, that's my boy's girl? Like,
right.
We all talk like this.
Right.
So she's getting all hyped up, mad about it. So I'm like, yo, whatever. Like, I'm not trying to hear this right now. You know what I mean? Like, nothing ain't happening. It ain't even like that. You jumping to conclusions. So I'm in the living room. She walks into the kitchen. All I hear is the drawer open. And you know how when you start looking for a knife or a spoon, whatever, you hear that rattling on the utensils? And I'm like, right away, I'm like, yo, this crazy chick is about to grab a knife.
What?
This chick comes around with a knife in her hand and coming at me. So her cousin.
Was she drunk?
No.
She was sober?
Sober. So my cousin.
This is a sober thought?
Sober thought. My cousin and.
Oh my goodness.
And her sister's boyfriend, they grabbed me. They grabbed each of my arms. I'm like, what? What you grabbing me for? Yeah, what you grabbing me for? And she's coming at me like this.
No!
She comes down and one of them grab her arm like this. Take the knife from her and like, yo, what is wrong with you? I'm like, yo, it's just craziness. Craziness, yeah. Needless to say, that relationship didn't last long.
I can see why. You almost got stabbed. That's too much.
It's a little too much.
Some people are in that type of passion. That's not for me. I don't need that.
Nah.
I don't need to worry about going to sleep at night when we arguing.
Yeah, that's
like I want to sleep comfortably. Even when arguing.
I slept in the closet before.
Oh my goodness!
So worried about what could happen while you sleeping in the bed. Like, I'm gonna sleep in the closet tonight.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So my story is memorable to me because It's one of the greatest nights of my life and one of the worst nights of my life the same night.
Ooh.
I will never forget this night. It was October 29th, 2008. And for those of you who follow sports, know that date is synonymous and will always be special to sports fans because the night the Phillies won the World Series. So I'm over at my friend's house, and this girl and I, we just had a conversation that said we were going to be a couple. The conversation just happened like the previous week.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Phillies are about to win the World Series. Brad Lidge throws the last pitch. My friend, so we went outside. We got the pots and pans. My friend was so excited he didn't have shoes on, and we were like, "Yo, what do we like? You know how you're so excited, you're just running around in a circle, you don't know what to do,
right?"
And we're like, "What do we do? We need to go somewhere. We need to go somewhere." So we decided we were playing softball at the time, and we were sponsored by this one bar. But we were friends with this really good bar, and we knew a lot of our friends were going to be there because we wanted to watch. Like big moments for me, I like to enjoy kind of more intimate. I can really appreciate them. I don't really like being out
Big crowd.
at like big crowds for events like that. I wanted to have a special moment, and then I thought like I'd go out afterwards. So we run out, we leave the girls at home, we run out to this bar, and we're all high-fiving our friends, jumping up and down. We get like 2 quick shots. They were like, "Yo," because we knew we have a Model of sporting goods right near our house. We knew the shirts were going to go on sale and everyone would be there. So we were like, "Yo, let's go to Modell's now." So we run it, get in the car, drive to Modell's. The parking lot's full of people. Everyone's high-fiving. All of a sudden, my friend Brad he goes, "Yo, my wife just called me and said we need to come home right now." And I was like, "What do you mean we need to come home right now? The Phillies won the World Series. What are you talking about? What is happening?" She's like, "No, like, I don't know." She's like, "It's something serious going on." So I'm like, "Okay, fine. Let's go." So we didn't want to go home, obviously. We were all up here, super excited.
The wifey called, so
he had to honor that call. I can't dispute that. That's his wife. So I think it has something to do with them. I have no idea that I'm about to get into the line of the fire. So rewind back that entire year. 2008, I was on a run, a big time run. I like this relationship with my first relationship, and this is October. That entire year, I've been single, so I was doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was living my life, living a very, very good life. Like I had a lot of friends down in the city, so I was frequenting Old City, Proud Stars, like my second home. Like I was there like every weekend. Killers and Manayunk, Mad River in Old City, Blue Martini. I was running through Old City like I was Pat Burrow.
This is the Opor time when you was with the foreign girl, was it?
No, this is after that.
Okay.
This is after that. That was 2002-ish. This is like 2008.
All right.
So this was my last real major run as a single. So like I was doing my thing. I was living my life. So just before like I started talking to this chick, the chick I'm dating now, probably like late August, but I was talking to like 2 or 3 girls with her at the same time. And one of the other girls I was talking to worked at, because we all taught, she worked at another school. Like we were at one school and then it was a school 15 minutes away. She worked at that school. Mm-hmm. I went over to help them out. That's how I met her. So all of us at September, we were talking, but I wasn't doing anything wrong because we weren't together. Like we weren't, I never claimed her. She never claimed me. Right. So I was still doing my thing. So in the midst of the hysteria and excitement, I left the bat phone on the table and it went off while I was gone.
Right.
So she picks this up and being a nosy now.
You left her at the crib?
We both of them stayed. Both of them stayed back. We just basically ran out. We were out. Gotcha. We were too excited. Because they were, I mean, you know how, like they were happy, but they weren't elated. Like
they didn't want to celebrate like that.
They weren't into it like that. They wanted to sit back and do whatever they were doing. Like, so like they weren't, it was okay. We left. We didn't just like, "Yo, we leave you guys." It was just, they weren't really into it. But I left my phone. I was excited. I left my phone, which is something I never do. I didn't have a passcode on or nothing. It was just naked. So she starts scrolling through and seeing text messages from this girl. So like she gets upset. That's why the call was made. So I come home, right? And
it's a setup.
It's a setup. Amy, his wife, has her hand around my girl and she has her head down like this. And immediately I'm like, oh, so this is about me. I went from so then like Amy, his wife, looked at me like that. She goes, and they're both just looking at me. And Brad goes, my friend goes, I'm standing there like this, like so she gets up and goes outside. So I follow her outside. I'm like, I try to play because like here's the thing. You never want to divulge too much information until you know the situation. So I'm not going to sit out here stitching on myself. I'm going to see what she knows, and then I'll fill in the blanks. So she goes, were you going to tell me about her? I said, who? She goes, oh, so you were just messing around with this other girl while you were messing around with me? And I was like, well, here's the thing. Technically, you're right. You're kind of right. That was happening. But in my defense, we weren't together. You weren't my girlfriend. So I was still single in my eyes. And she's like, well, I wasn't messing around with anyone. And I was like, well, now this is awkward. I was like, listen. And she's like, and I should have known, right? Because here's what, like, listen, people are going to get emotional sometimes. Sometimes you get emotional. And there's times to get emotional. And she started crying. But she became one of these people that every time we argued, she cried. Which I became desensitized to her tears. They got to a point where I don't want to see these tears. You know what I mean?
Crying.
Yeah, it was sad. This time it was a little sad because I'd never seen her cry before. But it got to the point in the relationship where I was like, bro, come on, these tears. But she was crying, and I don't want to make her cry. I felt bad, so I'm like, I did like the worst thing you could ever do. Like I felt really bad, and like I was young and dumb. So I was like, listen, I'm not seeing her right now. I mean, we can call her. I'm not even seeing her right now. So I didn't think she's going to take me up on it. She's like, well, yeah, let's call her. I want to talk to her. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, no, don't do that. No, don't. No. But in my heart, I'm like, she deserves that moment. Let her have that moment. Let her feel good about it.
What?
I know. It was so dumb. So I allow her to call this girl. And the girl was blindsided. It was awkward for 2 minutes. She's like, and then she was like, you know me, because they met.
You dropping bombs all over the place.
It was messy. Because like I was working at this school, so like I was working with this girl. So she came over on a lunch break one time to hang out with me, and brought me lunch. So they met each other. Messy. So I know, so messy. I was a bad human, but so they talked for a couple minutes. She feels better, and like she was just like, well, are you messing with me right now? I was like, no, not today. I'm with you. Just no. I was like, no, I'm not. No, that was September. That was September, Marcus. It's October, Marcus. It's a different month. It's a whole new month. It's a whole new me. It's fine. Like she should have known. Like she should have seen that. Like, and that's back when I had ringtones. You don't remember ringtones?
Oh yeah, remember the ringtones.
I had a ringtone for this girl. I'm a slave, Britney Spears. She should have known right there something was wrong.
Now sometimes you don't have to make it official. You're dating somebody without those words being spoken.
I don't agree with that.
That happens.
I don't agree with that.
And your girl.
I think a contract needs to be signed verbally. You got to enter a contract.
Listen, I'm not saying it doesn't need to be signed, but sometimes it's a contract without that before the signature gets on it.
You can think that.
Yes.
But until we have that conversation, like, yeah, you can think that, and you can think that in your head, but until we have that conversation, we're not in a relationship, in my opinion.
But it goes down. When you're out with, like, who's that? Oh, that's my girlfriend. And then they're like, and you're like, yeah, that's my girlfriend. Yep, contract just got signed. You didn't even know it. I mean, you really didn't sign the contract. She signed it for you. You just
true.
so yeah, your girl was under the impression that y'all were together because she
Right.
wasn't
And
messing with
so
nobody.
she thought we were together, and she said she went back. She's like, we've been talking since like the end of August. I was like, you're right.
That's
Well,
3
nothing.
months. September.
No, it was like a month and a
2
half.
months.
Month and a half. It was like, yeah. But I was like, yeah, but we never like we were and like we during that time, the first time we went out as individuals, just me and her, was in October, that week before the World Series. So it was two significant things. We were hanging out in groups before that. Like, yo, you gonna be out tonight? Yeah, I'm gonna be out tonight. We hang out, and then one thing leads to another, but nothing. It was never anything before that of us hanging out one on one. We never did that.
Right.
Until that. So for me, it was no, I didn't. Mm-mm. And plus, I was coming off of the run. You come off the run, you got to be brought back down.
But she don't know you coming off the run.
Yeah, she kind of did because we were friends before, so she knew I was going out all the time and stuff. But whatever, it was a moment. Real quick though, I have another one before we go to break. Real quick, so. You know why I'm really mad at Usher? I want to battle him because Usher got me in trouble back in the day.
Oh my god!
I'm mad at Usher Raymond. That's why we battle him this Thursday. Because I'm mad at him. Usher is one of those artists that when I don't know what it is about him, but when you sing his music, you gotta close your eyes and be passionate about it. You gotta dive in all the way when you sing his music. And there's one song in particular that I feel like got a lot of people in the fights. I was in the car one day with this girl I was singing, and I said, see the thing about you that caught my eye is the same thing that makes me change my mind. Going off. You remind me of a girl. Y'all know the words.
Yeah.
So the premise of that song is what?
Yeah.
I can't be with you because you remind me of somebody I used to be with.
Yep.
This girl got in her feelings and got upset. She was like, why are you singing like that for? And I always think of me. I was like, I came out like that, said, you think? No, I'm just singing a song. It's a song.
Nah, the way you were singing it told the story, bro.
She didn't remind me of anybody. I was like 24 years old.
Yeah, you can't sing that song like that. You can't sing it like that.
But that's what you do with Usher, though. Usher is one of those artists that he's very emotional in the way he sings. He makes you want to get emotional with it.
Yeah, not with a girl you're trying to talk to.
Yeah, I did the funniest thing to one of my friends. We were driving. We were coming from Maryland, and the Confessions album just came out. So like. The music was up super loud. When music up super loud, everybody think they can sing, right? So Confessions on. I look over. He's going in. He said, "These are my confession." He had his hands all up, eyes closed. I turned the music down, and he was just like, "These are my." Just played him, completely played him. He was so upset. Hilarious. But yo, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Ellen situation. And a couple other situations that are going to lead to us to have a moral conversation about where we go from here with entertainment. It's totally unclear. It's Marcus and Jervis. We'll be right back. Yeah, man. I was on
I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. And even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, Maria, and she convinced me to continue my education. She just never judges. She's a true role model.
From the depths of my heart, I thank you, Maria, for being a friend and a beautiful person. No one receives a diploma alone, and I'm honored to share this moment with you. Thank you.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Yeah, man. Welcome back. Totally Unclear. Marcus Jervis. So you brought up Ellen
Yes.
a little bit ago, and now today, the reason why this is back out today because this is now an official investigation. It was last week there were rumblings is going to happen. Now it's official. Can you please read to the people some of the things that are being investigated?
Yeah, so Warner Media has initiated an investigation into alleged workplace misconduct on the set of the Ellen DeGeneres show. Sources confirmed to The Hollywood Reporter. The decision followed the publication of a story from BuzzFeed that detailed accusations of racism, unjust termination, and an overall toxic workplace culture on July 16th.
Wow. And anyone who watches Ellen's show, what's the tagline Ellen will use? Be kind. And listen, my grandma told me a long time ago, anything you do in the dark shall come to the light. Shall come to the light. So let's stay focused on that for a minute. And also, the Washington football team has also got themselves in a lot of trouble for things allegedly happening in their backyard.
Yes.
The Washington Post released a huge article with a lot of misconduct. Now, they kept the owner, Dan Snyder, out, but there's a lot of allegations against him regarding what was taking place back there. So I'm going to read some of these things. Now, this is all allegedly. Nothing's been proven. But this is according to DC Media World. According to two sources close within DC Media World, the alleged bombshell report involving the Washington football team will contain the following. Dan Snyder abuses drugs and alcohol, and that it leads to Redskins' workplace culture. Snyder has paid off NFL officials to fix games, and some refs have made over $2 million from Snyder. He also not the only owner to pay officials in the NFL. Snyder and former Washington football team, coach Jay Gruden pimped out, that's a quote, their cheerleaders to season ticket holders while holding their passports for them in a foreign country. Redskins running back Cabri Bibbs and Gruden were sleeping with the same girl, allegedly, and found out about it, and he benched Bibbs because they were sleeping with the same girl. During the game that Bibbs was benched, his replacement missed a block. And that resulted, do you remember the Alex Smith injury?
Yeah.
Career injury?
Yeah.
That resulted in that injury, that missed block.
Whoa.
Yeah, man. Apparently there were some sex parties with rampant drug use, sexual assaults, allegedly. Snyder held nude photo shoots with the Redskins cheerleaders. This is all part of a pending FBI investigation.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the official report did not contain that information. So I think they're really trying hard to make sure that's an actual thing. Now, listen, anyone who's seen Dan Snyder, you can Google this right now. I'll give you 5 seconds to Google a picture of Dan Snyder. I want you guys to have the visual as I talk about Dan Snyder. If you look at him, he looks like a creep. Look at his face. None of this stuff surprises me because he looks like a whole creep. The Washington football team has been a mess for a very long time. So is this stuff surprising to me? It's shocking in the detail, but surprising, not really. So you have Ellen, you have the Washington football team, and I go back to R. Kelly and everything that unfolded with him with the docuseries was on R. Kelly, Surviving R. Kelly. I go back to Bill Cosby and the allegations against him. And I look at all of this stuff, and you're seeing a lot of these things come out about certain celebrities, but a lot of quiet on the forefront about a lot of this stuff. There's not a lot of support coming out against a lot of this behavior. And I wonder why that is. And my theory is that we're coming to an age where a lot of your favorite celebrities, a lot of people you consider to be great people and great entertainers and all this stuff are starting to be exposed for things they're doing behind closed doors. And all of these things are starting to be opened up and being investigated and being seen. And I believe that we're coming to a crossroads in life well, we're going to start having to make some serious decisions about entertainment versus morality. Because I think we're getting to a point where you can't have both. And it always probably should have been that way, but it's not that way. Because we look at these people that come through our television screens as if we know them and know anything about them. We see Ellen DeGeneres, for instance. You see her for an hour a day, 5 hours a week, and you think you see all the good things she does, yelling giveaways, talking to all these families, doing all these things. You think she's a great person, right? She's doing all these things when the cameras are on. So you think, oh, you know what? I like her. She's a great person. She's a really good person. R. Kelly made music that made us feel good. He made music that is, if you took a soundtrack of your life, you'd be lying if you said R. Kelly didn't have at least 3 or 4 songs in that soundtrack. Bill Cosby. I didn't have a dad growing up. My dad was incarcerated when I was 12 years old. Bill Cosby was a father role model for me as Cliff Huxtable of the Cosby Show.
Right.
And he was like that for a lot of especially black families and black children. We looked at Cliff Huxtable as a father figure. Football, the thing, allegations we've come out against, maybe what is Washington football team? What is that your favorite team? What if you root for them? What are we doing? What are we going to do about this? Because it's, for me, I now, you can't say, oh, I'm not going to listen to R. Kelly anymore. You know why you can't say that? Because next week somebody else might come out you might have to deal with. So you're going to keep doing this. You're going to get to the point where you can't listen to nobody no more. And you can't watch anything anymore. So do we cancel these people, or do we separate entertainment from the person?
I mean, that's tough. That's tough to do for some people. It's tough to do that separation. When you realize the bad, negative, and vile stuff that someone did, that it has to seep in to the morality side and the entertainment. They have to cross at some point in time. I mean, it just has to. How can you separate it so cleanly and just say, well, I just enjoy so-and-so's music, so I'm going to continue to listen to the music? In a sense, those songs R. Kelly wrote were about some of the women that he abused. So how can you not separate that? That's a tough one. And that's maybe a different situation, but those songs are written about some of the girls he abused. You know what I mean? So that's, how do you separate that?
But I go back to my original point real quick, is you look at what R. Kelly did, and listen, I don't want anyone to get misconstrued. Scumbag to the scumbag degree.
Yep.
What he did was absolutely horrendous. I'm not excusing his behavior, not even a little bit. None of that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, you notice how there wasn't a lot of celebrity support against him.
Right. There
wasn't an overwhelming, especially in the hip hop industry, there was not an overwhelming degree of support coming out against him. There were a lot of people not saying anything and being silent. And what we're learning in 2020, that's something I've known all along. I believe when you're silent against something negative, it makes you complicit. Silence is the same as saying, I agree with this. That's how I feel. If you see something that's wrong and you know it's wrong, you stand up and you say it's wrong. And if you don't do that, you're just the same a part of the act as everyone else is. So I found it interesting that not a lot of people were saying anything about what was going on. You only saw, in that Surviving R. Kelly documentary, there was only 2 celebrities, hip-hop artists to come forward. It was Damon Dash, formerly of Rockefeller, and John Legend. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that a little strange? With something that bad, that no one's saying anything? I do.
But here's the thing. People don't want to get involved. And that has nothing to do with, I agree. It just means that I don't want to get involved. I don't want to deal with that.
But why don't you want to get involved?
Because some people are a bury my head in the sand type of person. They don't want to deal with any of that stuff. That stuff is too negative or too, they can't even stomach that kind of stuff. I mean, people are just built that way. Some people just don't want to be involved at all. They don't want that on their front doorstep. They don't want to have to discuss that stuff, and they have nothing to do with it. They don't do those type of things, but they just don't want to be involved with that.
Yeah, but
I don't think we can label everybody who doesn't get involved as being okay with it, because I don't think that's true at all.
I think I'm tap dancing around the point a little bit. Let me get into it and stop tap dancing. I believe that this is a normal practice within the hip hop community. And I believe that there are people out there that are doing the same things R. Kelly is doing. And if they speak up, they will be exposed for their actions. Listen, let me put it that way.
Okay.
Let me get in there.
That could be happening, but I don't think it's so. If two artists came up, the rest of the artists in that community are doing it. No.
Yeah, I'm not saying everybody's doing it, but I will say I think it's a practice that's more prevalent than not, and I believe that this is something that R. Kelly is kind of taking the fall for, but other people have participated in, and I don't want us to stay singularly focused on R. Kelly. I want to make sure we're involving everybody involved in there, because Ellen now is facing her allegations. The Washington football team facing their allegations, and we have other forms of entertainment being attacked too. I want to stay focused on the main issue, which is it's if you keep doing this and canceling people and entertainers and keep going down the line, mm-hmm. You're going to get to a point where you're running out of people. That's cool. R. Kelly.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, let's run out. If we're catching them, let's run them out.
So you don't think it's possible to separate the two? You think that has to be one and the same? Like if you hear something about someone, that's just it for them.
It's tough. I think it's tough to separate it. Here's the thing too. We have to have, it can't just be allegations.
Yeah.
Because allegations is not proof.
Right.
So that's the thing. We have to have the proof. And when you have proof, it's easy because But with an allegation, it's something that now it's just your decision. And that's why some people can separate and some people won't separate. Michael Jackson is another one. Some people will not. I know people that are Michael Jackson fans, no matter what, they don't believe he did anything to any boys, blah, blah, blah. And they're going to listen to his music no matter what. But there are other people that are like, nah. There's other people that are like, nah, I think Mike did it, and I'm not listening to his music. I'm not supporting that.
We had this conversation. If you remember, we had this conversation a while ago. And I did my research because I don't mess around with child abuse in any stretch of the imagination. And I did my research. And after my research, it's concluded, and from everything that I've read and seen, it's nowhere in the world that happened. And I want to get into that. That's not something we're talking about right now, but you got to do your research on stuff like that. And I think what happened with Michael Jackson, a lot of people didn't do their research. They just trusted people and sources that weren't true and credible. But anyway,
the thing is that is, so again, without the proof,
yeah,
you can make your decision of what you want to do.
Right.
Yeah, it just comes down to that. But people will do that regardless, with proof or not. People are still going to support an artist if there's proof that he committed these crimes. They're still going to want to listen to his music. So it comes down to your own. That's your own moral compass.
Yeah.
And how far it leans on either side.
Well, I'll tell you what I struggle with. If I'm going to be honest, if I'm we can't go out right now because of everything going on, but if I'm at a bar and Nish and Remix comes on, I'm not singing the words now. I'm going to stand up just, or you know what I mean? It's hard for people.
Right.
And that's something that a lot of people want to admit, but it's the truth. You hear Step in the Name of Love at a wedding, that's one of those generational songs that's part of the culture of who we are.
But you don't have to step. That's the thing, though. You don't have to get up and step. You can hear the song. I'm
stepping in your head.
Yep. I'm gonna sit here and drink my drink until the song is over, and then I'm gonna get up and step. But when that song comes on, I don't have to get up and dance to it. I don't have to sing the lyrics to it.
Right.
We all got to make a decision. We all got to make a choice. And
it's gonna be. This is one of those subjects where I see both sides of the coin.
Right.
And I think both sides have Like I'm never gonna chastise someone for saying, you know what, I'm not gonna listen to that artist anymore. Now I will caution you saying, you know, you gotta be careful with that stuff because your favorite artists be doing the same things. You don't know. They just haven't been caught yet. But I see the other side of the coin where it's like, listen, like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, they did those things, but I don't know that person. I never knew that person. So they're entertaining because a lot of things the thing is that as the deeper we get in the years, because of social media, because of investigative reporting, because of paparazzi, we're going to find out more things about our favorite people. And it's going to lean closer to the negative side because negative sells more than positive.
And it's the question of, are you going to let someone's good deeds be ruined by some negative deeds they've done? If somebody has gone out there and raised a bunch of money for charity and has helped children and built schools and has done all this great stuff, but they were doing some foul stuff on the other side, does that negate all the great things that they have done? Are you going to tear down that school now because that person did some negative stuff? Bill Cosby. That Cosby Show was one of the greatest shows on television. The Cosby Show did a lot of good things, like you said, for guys who didn't have parents and never saw black people represented in that way. Where, man, black people can be well off and respectful and not beat their kids and just teach them.
Right?
And to see that you could show that show today for a new generation of kids growing up.
Absolutely.
But would you not show that? That show is so good and powerful because of the things that Bill did. That's the big question of, is somebody's great work tarnished because of some bad actions that they've done? Should that really mess up the great work that they've done? Or can we separate that?
Right.
Say, no, we'll keep this good work because this is some good stuff they did that has a positive message, but the bad stuff they did, we're going to, they're going to be held accountable for that.
I know a lot of black men that wanted to go to college just because of the Cosby Show. Hillman, was a fictional school. But like a lot of black men, a lot of black people, period, wanted to go to college. They wanted to be Cliff. They wanted to be Claire, a doctor and a lawyer, raising a family together. The Cosbys for us was an American dream. And we didn't have anything like that on TV. Like, you go back to the Jeffersons. Well, the Jeffersons was the first affluent black family, but George Jefferson was still a little rough around the edges. Mm-hmm. He wasn't refined.
He was a hood dude.
Right. He was a guy who hustled his way to the top. Bill Cosby, Cliff Huxtable was more the traditional way of getting the education, going to school, becoming a doctor. Claire going to school, become a lawyer. We didn't see that in our community. That's why that show is so sacred for us. So yeah, it's difficult because like you said, what do you do? Do you take things like that away, even though they have positive influences, but they now have negative connotations? What do you do?
Right. I mean, everybody wanted that Cliff and Claire love before that Will and Jada love. Yo,
Cliff wasn't out here with no entanglements, though.
Yeah,
there were no entanglements with Cliff.
That's what they wanted. They wanted that Cliff and Claire love. That was they were trying to strive for.
Yo, so before we get out of here, I got a question. We're gonna shift gears for a second. So my son had a sleepover last week. Mm-hmm. He had a sleepover with his friend, and they're both 5, right? So it was getting time to bath time. I said to Amber, I'm like, yo, why don't you throw them in the tub at the same time? She said, what? No, we ain't doing that. I said, why not? I was like, bro. So let me ask you this: you ever bathe with your cousins?
You
done it before?
Whoa. This
you
ain't his
cousin. Huh?
This ain't his cousin, is it?
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same. They grew up together. They've known each other since they were babies.
Okay.
They grew up together.
And how old is he?
They're 5. Bro, I was bathing my cousins till I was like 8.
This ain't your cousin.
You bro. Keep it real. How old were you two bathing with your cousins still?
I never bathed with my cousins. I bathed with my sister.
What?
Yeah.
Like we were babies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably towards about 5 and 3, maybe. Probably around that age, and then we stopped.
It got weird.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't weird for me and my sister. We just playing in the tub.
Yeah. splashing around.
As a kid, you don't even think about that. You're just playing in the tub, getting clean, having fun, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? My sister running around naked half the time anyway. You know, kids aren't running around no clothes on paper.
Right, don't care.
So yeah, it's just there's no kind of negative connotation for that.
No, not at all. It's Adam and Eve.
And even cousins, like you said, it's family. It's my cousin. Like it's all family. But a neighbor's kid.
Well, he's not. But the thing is, we've known they've known each other since they were babies.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Like so, it feels like a cousin. That's why I said that. I wouldn't do it like just a random kid. It felt like a cousin. But it got me thinking. I was like, when is it inappropriate to bathe with someone anymore? Like as a child.
From birth.
When is it weird?
From birth. Nowadays,
are black people the only ones to do that? That's just us. Do white people bathe with siblings and stuff?
I mean, I'm sure some do, but
we have straight 3-4 in the tub.
Yeah,
straight gang showers,
and one after another. You done get out next.
Right, you done get out right next. Jump in.
Yep.
And dirty water, just flapping around in it.
That's it.
Somebody got a snorkel in there in the tub. Mommy, he pushed me. I fell.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's like I said. Nowadays,
can't do that.
Can't do that. Amber's right. Thank you, Amber, for being the voice of reason.
Try to get child services called on us.
You know what I mean? You try to catch a charge real quick. You go home. Hey, how was the sleepover, baby? Oh, it was fun. Marcus and me and David playing the tub together.
Don't put me into it. I wasn't. No, don't put me in the tub. I wasn't in the tub. Don't do that to me. I wouldn't even have been in the bathroom. I wasn't in the tub. I wasn't in there.
So the question is, do you bathe your son just by himself? If he takes a bath, does he bathe himself, or do you still wash him up?
He does showers now. He can do it by himself now. He's self-sufficient in the shower game. That happened in the past like 6 months. So I used to have to do that for him for a while, but then I kind of taught him how to do it himself, and
we're not worried about saving water anymore. All right, now put him on the tub. We gotta save this water. Put him on the tub.
Right.
They ain't gonna save no more. We gonna waste this water. Y'all go one at a time.
Facts.
The water stays hot too. It don't get cold. Hey, go take all the hot water up.
So the last person in there is like shivering. Yeah, man. All sad.
Some days.
All right, I guess. But before we get out of here this Thursday night, we got the battle.
The battle.
Usher Raymond versus Chris Brown.
Usher, baby. Chris Brown.
Like I said off air, this is definitely gonna be my toughest test. I'm going in prepared. I ain't playing games. We not playing games. We ready.
And we got guest judges.
I saw that.
Yeah. We got guest judge DJ Chelsea Lee, who's the judge. She's the judge. She DJs on the Devin Wade Show.
Okay.
So, which is a hot podcast. If you haven't checked that out, check out our boy Devin Wade on his podcast. And we got Miss A rapper who's going to be in there too, judging.
Okay.
They know their music. They music lovers. They hype. They excited to judge.
I'm ready, baby. I'm ready for this.
We might have one more judge coming through, but we got 2 locked in.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. It's gonna be fun. But shout out to Prince Blue, Real Time Podcast. Check him out. He's on Twitter every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Follow him at Real Time. I'm sorry, at Real Prince Blue. Check us out and follow us on all social media platforms at Totally Unclear. Follow me on all social media platforms at Marcus B. Tweeting.
Catch me at Sage Herb on everything.
And until next time, Debbie Trout. All kids are your kids. That's one. That's rude.
You don't like them other kids. You ain't got to. Let's get it.
Late.